All right, the Green Bay Packers just got some news that could seriously shake things up, not just for them, but for the whole NFC. And trust me, this is way more than just a simple injury update. We're talking about one player whose return could completely change the DNA of their entire defense. Let's dig into why this is such a huge deal. You hear this question all the time, right? How much can one guy really change things? Well, in this case, we've actually got the data, we've got the context, and it all points to one thing. The return of this single defensive tackle is a legitimate game changer. Okay, first things first, the news. The Packers have a massive game coming up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they just got the one piece of good news that might just change everything about that matchup.
And here he is. Defensive tackle Wyatt is back on the practice field. He's been out since week 4 with a knee injury, and after sitting out 2 whole games, man, you could really feel he was gone.
But hold on, it's not a done deal just yet. Head coach Matt Lafleur is pumping the brakes just a little. He's basically saying, look, it's great that he's practicing, but he still has to prove he's 100% ready for Sunday. So all eyes are on him this week. His return isn't a guarantee.
So to really get why everyone's so excited about this, you gotta look at what happened when he wasn't there. We need to measure the size of the hole he left, and believe me, the numbers tell a fascinating story. We can all say, oh, they missed him, but can we actually put a number on it? Just how much did losing Wyatt really set this defense back? Well, the short answer is a lot. And this is where it gets really interesting, because it's not just about the final score. When you peek under the hood at some of the advanced stats, it becomes crystal clear that this defense just wasn't the same without him on the field. Okay, check this out. Let's talk defensive success rate. That's basically just the percentage of plays where the defense straight up wins the down. That dropped by almost 4%. Then there's opponent EPA per play, a fancy term for how much damage the other team's offense was doing every single snap. That got worse too. Now, these might look like small numbers on a screen, but in the NFL, that's everything. That little edge is often the difference between a win and a loss. So who is this guy at the center of it all? Let's take a minute to talk about Wyatt, because his journey to this point is pretty cool. Wyatt was a first-round pick back in 2022, so expectations were sky high from day one. But it wasn't an instant stardom story. He spent his first couple of seasons as a rotational guy, playing behind the veterans. The team always knew he was an incredible pass rusher, but they needed him to get better against the run before they could turn him loose. Well, this season, he did just that and earned himself that full-time starting job. And that development is the whole key right there. He's not a one-trick pony anymore. Now that he's a force against the run, offenses have to respect him, and that just unleashes his absolutely elite pass-rushing talent. Oh, and it probably doesn't hurt that he plays right next to a Pro Bowl monster like Kenny Clark. That's a terrifying duo. And if you want to know how the Packers really feel about him, well, money talks. We're talking nearly $13 million. That's the value of his 5th-year contract option for the 2026 season. By picking that up, the team basically sent a message to the entire league. This is our guy. He's a cornerstone of this defense for years to come. And here's the crazy part. That big investment was already paying off in a massive way this year. Before he got hurt, Wyatt wasn't just playing well. He was on track for a season that was going to put everybody on notice. Get ready for this. In less than 3 full games, Wyatt had already racked up 13 quarterback pressures. For a guy playing on the interior of the defensive line, that's not just good, that is an absolutely ridiculous pace. And if you take that pace and stretch it out over a full 17-game season, well, that's when the numbers start to get just plain silly. He was on pace for a staggering 73 total pressures. Let me say that again, 73. To put that into perspective, you could probably count on one hand the number of interior linemen in the entire NFL who hit that mark. This wasn't just a good start. This was shaping up to be his superstar arrival. And just look at this jump. His career high for an entire season was 45 pressures. He was on pace to absolutely demolish that number. We're not talking about a little bit of improvement here. We're talking about a massive leap into a whole other stratosphere of performance. So let's bring it all back to right now. What does all this, the data, the development, this insane breakout performance, what does it all mean for this Sunday against the Steelers? Here's the bottom line. Getting Wyatt back on the field isn't just about plugging a hole in the lineup. It's about restoring the entire personality of this Green Bay defense. He is the engine that creates chaos from the inside, and when he's firing on all cylinders, the whole scheme just works better. He brings their disruptive identity back.
And that really is the big question hanging over this game, isn't it? We've seen the numbers, we know the kind of impact he can have. So will the return of just one player be enough to tip the scales in such a critical game? I guess we're all about to find out.